Alright, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we are going to talk about cloud computing. But before we do that, let's take a quick recap. In the previous video, we looked at co-location as the first step away from owning an entire data center. It reduced the time to get space, power, and cooling, but companies still had to buy and manage physical servers. Even though it was an improvement, it was still expensive, complicated, and slow. The digital world was rapidly evolving, and as such, companies wanted to scale rapidly, release applications or products faster, and also reduce costs. They needed a solution that didn't require them to purchase hardwares and, of course, not maintain them physically, so that they could just focus on deploying and maintaining their applications. And this is where cloud computing came in. So what is cloud computing? So cloud computing is basically the on-demand delivery of IT resources like compute, storage, databases, networking, software, all over the internet with pay-as-you-go pricing. Now, what does this mean? Now, this means that you as an organization do not buy, own, and maintain any physical infrastructure. You can access these services on demand basis from a cloud provider, and it is all through the internet. And the beautiful aspect of it is that you only pay for what you use and when you use them. Now, let's go back to the farming analogy once again. I know. Imagine we are in a farming era where you don't need to buy a whole farm. You basically rent a piece of land. You can use all the tools that you need to farm on demand. So this time you don't need to purchase any farming equipment. And then, of course, you only pay for the part of the land that you cultivated and then the tools that you used. You could scale both up and down as and when demand changes. And this was precisely what cloud computing was doing or is doing for businesses. They literally rent computing resources or IT resources, use them, and only pay for what they use. Now, these are some key characteristics of cloud computing. It was on demand. That means that you provision resources exactly when you needed them. It was globally available because you could access the services over the internet from anywhere in the world. And it offers what you call resource pooling, which means that cloud providers do the heavy lifting and they share the underlying infrastructure across many users efficiently. It also offered rapid elasticity. That means that organizations could scale up their resources up and down to meet changes in demand, and it offered pay-as-you-go pricing, which means you only pay for the resources you use and only when you use them. So what are some of the cloud providers? Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud by Google, and Azure by Microsoft are the major cloud providers, with AWS holding the largest market share. However, there are other cloud providers who also continue to offer cloud services, and these are IBM Cloud, Oracle Cloud, and Alibaba Cloud. So just for recap, remember the virtual machines and hypervisors? So cloud providers literally will give you virtual machines instead of what? Physical servers. And these virtual machines run on powerful servers using type 1 hypervisors. Now, you're going to think of it like an apartment with many units. Yeah, we've looked at this example before, but I'm just retreating it, right? So each apartment is going to feel like a complete home on its own. So the same thing with the virtual machine thing. Even though you are running a virtual machine on a physical hardware line somewhere in a data center, but the virtual machine you are running will still feel like a complete computer on its own, right? And then they are all still going to share the physical foundation, and that is what the actual hardware or server that is sitting in the data center. So this is the underlying concept behind cloud computing. All right, in the next video, we are going to look at where we can run cloud infrastructure from and who takes responsibility of management and maintenance of the infrastructure. If you are liking this series so far, kindly like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The name is TheKloudWiz, and I'll see you in the next one.